NATO foreign ministers met in Prague at the end of May 2024, and in that meeting, an agreement was reached that would allow limited use of Western-donated weapons to Ukraine to be used against targets inside Russia that were being used to launch offensive operations in Ukraine. French President Emmanuel Macron promoted this position, which United Kingdom Foreign Secretary David Cameron later embraced. As expected, the Kremlin denounced the decision as escalatory and vowed to retaliate over the escalation by the West. Ukraine almost immediately attacked targets in Russia, mainly the opposite of its second-largest city, Kharkiv, which was facing increasing attacks by the Russian armed forces. The Russians responded by conducting missile drills in the Atlantic close to Cuba in an apparent show of force within 100 miles or 160 kilometers of the United States. The U.S. announced that it was not concerned about the drills and admitted that Russia is capable of projecting force. Late last week, Russian President Vladimir Putin traveled for a state visit to North Korea. North Korea has been an important ally in supporting the war in Ukraine, which has included the transfer of ballistic missiles and around 1 million artillery shells for use in Ukraine. The two leaders signed a defense pact, but the agreement lacked significant details, except for the Russian threat to provide North Korea with weapons of equal capability to what the West is providing to Ukraine. On Sunday, June 23rd, Ukraine launched 5 U.S.-made ATACMS missiles against targets in Crimea. Russia reported that they shot down all 5 missiles, but one of the downed missiles had its warhead explode near a beach. Multiple video sources captured the exploding warhead, which killed 4 people and injured another 151. The Russian government in Moscow summoned U.S. Ambassador Lynn Tracy to the Foreign Ministry, accusing the U.S. of waging a hybrid war against Russia and declaring it as a party to the conflict. Russia also accused the U.S. of aiming and providing targeting data for the missiles responsible for the attack on Crimea. Russia pledged but did not specify retaliation against the United States. The United States denied any involvement in choosing or assisting Ukraine in weapons targets. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin initiated a phone conversation with his counterpart in Russia, Defense Minister Andrei Belousov, on Tuesday, June 25, 2024. This was the first time the two had spoken, and the first such conversation between the two defense departments since March 2023. A Pentagon spokesman revealed that the meeting's purpose was to re-establish communication while the war in Ukraine persists. Most likely, the U.S. administration initiated it due to concerns about miscalculations, as it has effectively severed any significant ongoing contact with Russia since before the start of the Ukraine war in February 2022. Defense Minister Belousov expressed Russia's apprehension about the potential escalation resulting from the increased supply of U.S. weapons to Ukraine. The Russian response aligns with the White House's fears and could potentially exacerbate their concerns about escalating the war. The Russians have not had qualms about attacking civilians in Ukraine, so the Crimean incident alone appears to be mostly faux outrage. However, Russia is trying to use the attack to change public opinion to pressure a change in U.S. policy, and the U.S. administration appears to be listening, as Lloyd Austin called Moscow.